Children's theatre isn't just for kids anymore, at least not the way it's practiced at the Coterie in Crown Centre, which consistently pushes the bounds of content and creativity. In the first of our Perform Arts series, in conjunction with KC Studio magazine, Randy Mason takes us to a place which, among other things, helped make Seussical the perennial favourite it is on stages around the world.
All the things you can make, think and wonder and dream, far and wide as you dare. When your things have run dry, in the blink of an eye, there's another thing there.
It was a Broadway kind of disaster because it was considered by critics to be overproduced and had moved away from the essence of Dr. Seuss. Now, in our world, in the world of theater for young audiences, the holy grail was to get to do Dr. Seuss.
I'll help you, but who are you and where?
I sat down with the composers and they were nice enough to take a meeting, wringing their hands over how difficult it had been for them in New York, and we just suggested a new version.
Amazing, amazing, as well it can be now.
And the new version would scale it down, it would be more efficient, and it would get to the heart of Dr. Seuss, which are the two Horton stories. Horton hatches an egg, and Horton hears a who.
Hello.
Hello?
And after our production and many other productions that came after ours, it eventually made its way back to New York, but they said that this is Dr. Seuss as it should have been.
And into the forest with thousands of trees.
You know, children, they love to learn, but they hate to be taught, and I think Dr. Seuss gets in there just right.
Sure enough, the school group's pouring in to see one of the first of what will be 100 performances of Seussical before year's end are primed for some fun. But don't be misled. This particular young audience isn't the only one that the Coterie's season has been carefully designed to attract.
One of the things that Jeff and I did do was move up the age of the plays. That it primarily had been plays for the very younger audiences, and we moved into that middle and high school, which had no programming for them.
Plays like The Outsiders or Our Town are pieces that people love, young people know, young people are even in the story, but people think, oh, that's not children's theater. Well, we try to redefine children's theater to be much broader.
I'm glad he doesn't know us.
They were coming by the droves to go see the gang in The Outsiders. So it was really a great moment for us. Teenagers coming to the Coterie on their own volition.
We ain't scared of these guys.
I can't stand fights.
They base a lot of their shows on books that the kids read. So to have that book come alive.
Oh, the bells, 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 and the clangour of the bells.
And it's apparent from the moment that you step into the space that it's not going to be a boring experience ever.
You know, it's not just musicals, it's not just the classics. It's not the same thing every year. We're sort of the unexpected. I don't think people expect us to be as good as we are or to have the kind of programming we have.
The creative artists here, they know their audience, and they don't ever talk down to the audience. Favorite show, Schoolhouse Rock, the musical, absolutely. That was one of the first ones I saw, and I brought a whole bunch of coworkers. We were the only adults in the theater except for the teachers. No,
as a parent now herself, Jennifer has plenty of excuses to see lots of shows at the Coterie. This summer, her 10-year-old took an acting class, not unlike this one. The Coterie offers them in Crown Center and at other venues around the metro. Teaching drama, improv, even comedy isn't uncommon for theaters like this. Considerably rarer, though, is a program that nurtures the talents of young playwrights, something Church has personally steered throughout most of his 20-year tenure here.
It's called A Play on Words. I don't want it to be like class. It's just a group, a collective.
Why?
They use each other to be cast members of their scenes, and they get some pretty honest feedback from their peers. Coming out plays and suicide plays and those kind of after-school specialty kind of plays, oh, so gone. No one's even writing in that style anymore. They're doing this very unique, audacious kind of writing. It just really is fascinating to be around. I also don't know of any other theater for young audiences in the country that is doing work with AIDS and STD education. I mean, we're one of a kind.
Excellent question.
That's the Dramatic AIDS Education Project, teaming the Coterie with students from the UMKC School of Medicine to accomplish results more effectively than either entity could on their own.
When these two merged, what was the weakness of one was the strength of the other. And that's why it has survived for so long. It's one of the things I'm the most proud of.
Partnerships of all kinds have helped the Coterie consistently do more with less. Among them, their resident artists, like Ron McGee, whose wacky ways with pop culture have helped build the Coterie at Night brand. And next spring, thanks in part to the success of Seussical, the family musical Lucky Duck, which premiered in 2010, will be heading to New York City for a 2-week run in the Big Apple. Yet another feather in the cap for one of the country's top 5 theaters for young audiences.
I thought when I came here from Washington, D.C., oh, I'll give it 1 to 3 years. And you know, it's funny how Kansas City, before you know it, you grow these sort of roots here. I like this theater. I thought the board of directors was always willing to take yet another risk and try out something else different. So we have been able to do all kinds of crazy things over these 20 years that are not traditionally thought of as children's theater.